Hello, and welcome to our Dream Keepers panel discussion, where we take the opportunity to explore ways in which Dr. King's dream of the beloved community is still being lived out today. One of the places we are actively building the beloved community is at St. Luke's Freedom School. Anyone who walks through our doors in the summertime is bound to encounter the sights and sounds of a diverse and loving community of staff, volunteers, scholars, and parents. You might be asking, what's Freedom School, and what makes it so special? In a moment, you will hear directly from some of our returning leaders. But first, let us provide some background.
The Freedom School program is deeply rooted in the American civil rights movement and the courageous efforts of college-age youth who fought to make a difference. During the 1964 Freedom Summer, as activists fought for voting rights for Black Americans, college students from the North traveled to Mississippi to teach the reading skills needed for African Americans to be able to register to vote. From this legacy of social justice, intergenerational leader development, and community activism, today's version of Freedom School was born. Today, Freedom School is designed to improve reading and language skills, to combat the summer learning slide and the preschool to prison pipeline. But it is so much more than that. Empowering through hope, education, and action, Freedom School teaches scholars and interns how to use civic engagement to bring change to their own families, schools, and communities.
Freedom School really focuses on developing a love for learning by using books with characters and experiences that our scholars can relate to. They read an average of 6 books each week and do all kinds of activities around the themes of each book. These activities also teach scholars social emotional skills, how to engage in the community, and so much more. We recently invited back some of our Freedom School staff members to share their own experiences and their impact of Freedom School from various points of view. Let's take a listen.
My name is Andrew Johnson. I've been with Kurt with Freedom School around 9 years, and I'm currently working at a security company.
Hello, my name is Kylie Burnett. I am currently a preschool teacher's aide, and I have been with Freedom School for 4 years now.
Hi, I'm Jakasia, but in Freedom School, I'm Miss JC, and I have been with Freedom School for 2 years, and I'm currently a beauty advisor.
How y'all doing? I'm Chris. I've been with Freedom School pretty much my entire life, as far as I can remember, and currently I'm an entrepreneur.
Describe your Freedom School journey. I've been with Freedom School since 2022. I was a lonely girl in a college with just me, myself, and I, and my cousin just offered this up to me, and ever since then, it's been the most amazing thing that I've ever done. I feel as though I have just grown not only just by myself, but with the scholars as well, and learning myself and the scholars.
Like I said, I've been a part of Freedom School, I feel like my whole life, as far as I can remember. I grew up in Chicago, Illinois, and that's where I was introduced to Freedom School as a scholar. And then once I basically graduated out of Freedom School, I did take kind of like a hiatus from it until I would say a few years ago, where I got the opportunity to be a servant leader intern and just starting to soak in everything that and refreshing my memories and stuff like that. And it was amazing. And being able to now, last year, being a site coordinator. So basically kind of having experience in Freedom School at every kind of aspect of it. So it's been pretty cool.
I would say very similar because started as a scholar in Freedom School, but I would also say with people in my family, more people in my family that are older than me, all being in Freedom School was something people would say it's in the blood. It's deep, something that's there. That being said, starting off as a scholar, I saw Freedom School as a simple summer camp with fun things happening Fridays. Growing up, becoming more of a servant leader intern, I got to see the impact and the behind the scenes that went into becoming a impact on other people's lives. So I would say that's more of the village and journey.
Which pillar of Freedom School resonates with you the most? High quality academic enrichment, parent and family involvement, social action and civic engagement, intergenerational servant leadership development, or nutrition, health, and mental health?
I think Freedom School kind of starts and ends with the parents. It's like if the parents aren't involved, the scholar isn't really able to get what they need to get out of Freedom School. And being able to have that parent and family involvement, I think, is very essential to helping Freedom School continue to be what it is. And also with social action and civic engagement, just it's amazing being able to see the scholars, the children, being able to stand up for what they believe in and encouraging them, and them being able to do different events, like how we had the little town hall where we actually had actual representatives on their school boards and stuff, being able to come out and hear what the scholars have to say. I think that's an amazing thing, and I think that's something that we should continue to encourage scholars and other children to continue doing, to let them know you have a voice to make a change in your environment.
I would say the one that resonates with me the most is social action and civic engagement. As an educator, there's a lot of things not only in history that are being deleted, but in our history that is being deleted. And we can't fight for the babies if we don't teach them how to fight for themselves. And that just not is only with scholars, but with other children. There's so many things happening where the government is trying to take down our children. And there's some points that we're not even there. There's kids that are getting harassed day in and day out with no adults being around. And we can't be there for them if we don't teach them and show them that they can protect themselves. They are allowed to use their voice, and they have to use it in the right way. And we can't do that outside if we can't do it at home first. So, yeah.
It takes the village with the family being present, like Chris said, from morning to night, or not night, but from the start of the day to the end of the day, or when family and parents can come in and read to the scholars, and it could be whoever, and it just makes a big difference. But also with social action and civic engagement, again, what Drew said is the heart of Freedom School, is why it started. And then intergenerational servant leadership comes from how our rooms are diverse. It's not one age group is a older kid to the youngest kid, and you can learn from everybody in the room instead of it being oh, the oldest kid are the smarter because they had more schooling. But you could really learn something from a little kindergartner, which is my kids. And then when it comes to high quality academic enrichment, they're continuously learning, and that's why they're not called students, they're called scholars for a reason, because they're scholars of life, and life doesn't stop from regular school term, but it continues throughout the whole year. And so that's why I think all of these are important, especially also with nutrition, health, and mental health. They get to expose themselves really freely in a way of talking about their feelings that they don't often get in schools, because there is 100 kids but only one counselor, where when our rooms are split, we have enough time to get to every scholar in the room and talk about really big things that they don't normally do when they're at home either. So they all are mine.
How has what you learned through Freedom School shown up in other parts of your life?
I would say one of the biggest things I've learned is just authenticity. Because if you're not authentic and genuine and fully committed to Freedom School, the scholars will know everything will fall apart, and you will not have that great of a summer, I feel and me just taking that, when you doing Harambe and just being with the scholars and really being in the atmosphere of Freedom School, it's this genuine energy that just surrounds the room, that fills the entire room up. And for me, I've been able to just take that and just really utilize that if I'm in a meeting with someone, or if I'm like doing other things in my life. I'm just always going into this, into the whatever room I walk in. I need to be me. I need to be committed to whatever I'm doing or whatever I'm about to do, because no one is going to be able to like be me. I have to be me. And also too, like, no one is going to be able to do it like me. Freedom School has really taught me how to really kind of like connect or tap into that like mentality. So that's what I would say is like one of the things. But I've also learned a lot like about just historical leaders that have been a part of this movement, which is something I value deeply, that I've learned from my time in Freedom School. And I've been able to use some of that knowledge to also share with other people I might come across on a daily basis. Just like sharing, like, oh, did you know about Claudette Colvin, or did you know about so-and-so? Like, just different like leaders and names that nobody has ever heard of. And it's been an amazing thing that I've been able to share. So
I think to not forget like who you're meant to be. And I think little children or scholars, they kind of get pushed to the back burner, and like a lot of the adult like family and parents, like they get pushed to the back, and they don't see that they have autonomy over their decisions, that they have valuable things to say, even though that they are so young. And I think we have to remember that, yes, our children can teach us something, and that don't let them forget the history that comes with them, because it's very valuable. And if you forget it, you make mistake, because history kind of repeats itself.
all right, next question. How does Freedom School reflect, keep alive, and further MLK's dream of a beloved community for you? Oh man, I'm gonna start with this. So I think this is easy. Like, if you look at everything that Martin Luther King used to preach about or teach about, one of his biggest things was, I have a dream that one day black children and white children come together, holding hands, like all of that stuff. So like, when you look at Freedom School, you not only see that, but you're seeing children from all different kinds of backgrounds, rather they're black, white, Hispanic, Arab, just different, or even different like personality types, different, just everything about them is different. All of them coming together in one room and being able to just laugh and play and joke around and really be in like fellowship with one another. And I think that's what Freedom School is all about, and that's what MLK was all about: equality, everybody being able to stand together, and remembering that even though the outside might look different, we still on the inside are all the same. We all still are one. So, and that's just like the beautiful thing that I think connects Freedom School to what MLK believed.
Okay, going off of what Chris said, he was like all of the students in one place. But not only all of the students in one place, all the different stories in one place. To foster understanding, you need knowledge. Education and understanding go hand in hand, because once you view those stories of different people, different, as we did in Freedom School, those different books, not just black stories, not just white stories, not just Asian, Arab, Latin, they're all in the book and they're all in the curriculum. Understanding how the relationships with each other plays a part on how you see each other. It all goes back to building a beloved community, because you can't build that without an understanding for each other. And Freedom School pushes that narrative of education to understand each other.
We build a family, and that family is a community that we allow anybody to come into. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter where you've come from, where you think you're going to go, where you are going to go in the future. You are just amazingly made, and we always want to make sure that we instill the love into those scholars, because we never know if they're getting it from, at home, at school. So just instilling that love, that family aspect that we all, sometimes we need, because the family that we have may not be the family that we've, wanted, but we've able to create that here. So, yeah. Why Freedom School? Why do you continue?
I definitely continue because of the history. I think so many people care about history, they just don't understand it. I said it because in my classroom this year, we had a saying, and the saying was, "Oh, you don't care about Black history? Are you sure that's you? Like that's the life you want to live?" But we said that as a joke because the students knew every scholar that came in is like, "Wow, I do care about Black history. I'm going to lock in for this book." And you don't get that type of lock in anywhere else, because no other school is going to teach you that history. But Freedom School gives them an opportunity to learn a love for that at a young age, so where they can grow and develop into that. So I would say that's why Freedom School, and the continuation is, if it's not going to be me, somebody else is going to teach the generation. So even if I'm not in a position, I hope that I'm inspiring other people to continue it.
There's no greater, I would say it's hard to find a greater satisfaction when you see a scholar have a breakthrough, like they might have been struggling with something, and then when that one day or that one moment where it's like, bam, they got it, like they finally figured it out, or they finally learned how to say this word or read this book, or they finally learned how to be more serving, or different things like that. When you see them helping others, it's just a beautiful thing to see that growth, and see that them learning and being able to have somewhat of an impact on that, or play some kind of role in that. It's just an amazing thing. And it's just my love for Freedom School, it runs deep. I love Freedom School so much. I love the youth. I love seeing them accomplish things that they once said that they could never accomplish, where it's no, you can accomplish that. And it's just like I said, it's hard to find a greater feeling of when you see a scholar being able to push through all the obstacles that they face that are placed in front of them, and especially when most of the obstacles placed in front of them are not their fault, and it's being able to see them break through or shatter every obstacle, and being able to see them being able to do the things that they love, and being able to share their voices, and it's just an amazing thing. So that's why I keep saying yes to Freedom School.
My happiest time of the year is when I'm at Freedom School. You don't get that nurturing sense, at a regular school. And I'm being completely honest with you. You don't. You don't get that, like what Miss JC said. You don't get that nurturing time, that one-on-one moment with, your teacher, because, again, they're teachers. We are teachers. You don't get that moment to cater to that child and to that scholar. You don't get that at a regular school, but you get that here. And I keep doing it because I see so many of these scholars who need that. They may not tell you that they need it, but they need it. They might, "Oh, don't give me no hug, don't give me no hug." But as soon as you turn, "Oh, I need the hug, please." So I just continue because the love grows strong, and it's deep. It's real deep.
What would you say to a new parent considering Freedom School? What would you say to a new volunteer considering Freedom School? And what would you say to a new SLI considering Freedom School? Since there's 4 of us, I'm gonna add one more if y'all don't mind. What would you say to a scholar considering Freedom School? So we got parent, volunteer, SLI, and scholar.
What I would say to a new volunteer would be, keep your mind open. There's so many different personalities. There's so many different backgrounds. There's so many so many different levels of learning and understanding. You have to be patient. We do the volunteer trainings because we want the volunteers to come in and know that patience and have that understanding and a little bit of, help before we go into the summer. But just be patient, not only with us, but with the scholars.
What I would say to a new parent, I would say, I got you. Like, if you're fearful of what, or like hesitant of what this program is, because it first says it's a literacy program, and like you're like, oh, like this is a different program than you've ever thought it would be. Like, we take care of your scholars. I promise you that they will come out of this situation better than you imagined they would. And just know that we are a team. Like, help me help you, help me. Mm-hmm. Because your scholar needs everyone on deck. Like, again, about the village, like, this is our village, and you'll be taken care of regardless. Like, regard of what you need, like how we did, like, food for the family that needed food, that backpacks at the end of the summer for their incoming school year. We have them fed. They'll be energized. They'll get all their wiggles out. But this program is definitely needing you as well as you're needing us. And that's what I would say to a new parent. Yeah.
All right, what I would say to a scholar is just give us a chance. As a site coordinator, I feel like I encountered that a lot, where there's a lot of new scholars who are scared, not knowing what Freedom School really was, or even just like, they're just like, reading, I ain't trying to read, it's summertime, like what? And completely understand. I did not want to read during the summer either. I get that. But it's like letting that scholar know, like, hey, I got you. Like, Mr. Chris got you. Like, I'm not going to let anything hurt you. I'm going to make sure, like, if you need anything, just let me know. Letting scholars know that, too. Like, hey, if you give us a chance, I promise your mind going to change about Freedom School. Because, like, I let them know, like, we do a lot of cool stuff. It ain't just the reading. It's being able to, like how we did the town hall, like doing things like that. We do a lot of different activities. We went on field trips, just like all the many things that Freedom School gets to offer. Also, you get to make some really good friends and we saw a lot of that just this summer alone, not even mentioning the other summers, where a lot of scholars, some of them might come in thinking like, I don't know anybody, like I'm scared. And then they end up being the most popular kid, the most popular scholar in the whole class or in all of Freedom School. And like everybody know their name and they friends with everybody. So I would just let that scholar know, like, hey, just give us this chance. I got you.
I would definitely say you are needed. You are making a difference. I say that very much on the note of every single day you're expected to give that 100%, even when it's hard to give that 100%. But it goes such a long way because many times not everybody get those people in their lives giving 100%. So you're wanted, you're needed. And you got a team that definitely cares and they're definitely trying to help. We had Chris as a site coordinator this year, and him as a site coordinator, he was definitely everywhere, running around, ripping and running, trying to make sure that everybody was on point. And as you say, even for the scholars, they was helping out everywhere. So you have help, you're needed, you're making a difference. You can't make a difference everywhere, but at Freedom School, you can make a difference. So
how would you explain what is so special and unique about Freedom School?
The reason Freedom School is so special is you can't get this experience anywhere else. You can't get this in the townships here. You can't get that in Wayne Township. You can't get that in Pike. You can't get that in California. You get such a loving environment. And what you were saying is they ask you what you want to be. Here we push you to be that. If you say you want to be an artist, okay, what artist do you like so far right now? Who do you aspire to be like? Or do you want to be different? You want to be yourself? You want to be unique? You don't get that sense of, I'm watching over you, I'm caring about you, I'm loving on you at a regular school. You don't get that one-on-one moment at a regular school.
Builds on that community, builds on family, builds on village, builds on education, builds on like being really active in your own community, especially with the I can make a difference in myself, my world, my family, with education action. and with all the other things. I think that's something that's unique that made me be like, oh, like you want me to start with myself and then use what I've learned to help everyone else around me. And I don't think in schools you think that far. Like, yeah, they'll ask you, what do you want to be in life? But do they really hone in on those things? Do they really cater to your skills? Do they really like care enough? And I think that's why Freedom School is so special and unique.
Books in Freedom School make you read this like, wow, what did I just open up? And I like this. Level 3, I'm pretty sure Chris can speak on it a little bit more. But the level 3 books, even some of those interested me. I'm like, these are something that I can't wait to hear about the scholars reading these. Most importantly, I would say, I remember from my classroom, because I was able to bring in books to the library, even adding books that I know that they would pertain to them, that I know they would like even something basic as Miles Morales or My Weird School, if you guys ever heard about that. Yeah, it was just giving them a different application of seeing themselves in books that they don't usually get to see.
What school you know is reading 30 plus books in one summer than they're doing in regular school? What school?
Banned books. How many banned books?
That is reading 30 plus
Banned
books in one summer of 6 weeks than you know in the entire school year. I think that was also unique that I was like, how I'm going to finish these books? But it's like 5 books for each week of I Can Make a Difference, and they're pertaining to applying it to yourself. Like my favorite book, if I can remember them, one was The Proudest Color. I love that book. I think it resonated with a lot of the scholars of just seeing themselves and being proud of who they are because their skin color is brown. And in the book, the girl was like, this is the only color that I can see, but also am. And it was just like, well, yeah, I love that.
Just everything that the scholars and the SLIs just bring in terms of their own backgrounds and experiences and what community they represent, rather that's Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, LGBTQ, just all the different communities and all the different, like I said, backgrounds that each scholar and each SLI is able to proudly represent and proudly wear around with no judgment, without feeling like they need to hide somewhere or feeling like they can't speak up or can't use their voice. No, Freedom Schools, it invites everyone, no matter who you are, everyone to come in and to share your experiences, share your ideas, share whatever you got. You get a lot of different books that are written by authors that look like a lot of the scholars that we have in Freedom School. You have Hispanic authors, Black authors, Asian authors, just authors from different backgrounds, which adds to that diversity, and chapter books that speak upon some real things that some scholars actually might be dealing with in their life, that in regular school you might not read it because that might be too much for the kids or something, whereas we like, no, we'll face it head on. Any struggle, anything that is happening in the world, we face it head on. That's what also makes Freedom School very much so special. But yeah, like these books might hint at gang violence. They might talk about police brutality. They might talked about substance abuse, just different things like that these scholars actually might be experiencing in their everyday lives. Like, it's like being real about what's going on in the world. Everything ain't peaches and rainbows, and no, it's like, and I think that's what really makes things so special, because we telling the scholars that, hey, we get it. We want to make sure that you're safe and have a great time and you can do whatever you set your mind to. But also, we know what's going on. We know that it's real out here. We know that it's a lot that's happening and it's a lot that is going on. But hey, through Freedom School, we're able to teach them hey, you can actually make a difference in these things that is happening in your life. So that's what I say. That was a long answer, but
What is your favorite book that was read at Freedom School, but not in a public school?
I feel like I can't even pick one. I've loved literally all the books that I've read the 3-4 years that I've been here. You don't see those books anywhere. I just now started seeing some of the books that we read in the 2022 like summer in Target, and it's sad to see it just now being shown representation of our scholars, but it was so beautiful being able to read every single one of those books and like look at their faces and they're like, oh, that's me, or that's who I want to be, that's who I want to look up to. It was just a beautiful thing to see them see themselves, if that makes sense.
I'm not sure if this book is in schools. I don't think it is, but I'll say I've never seen a book similar to Sankofa when I was growing up, or seeing Sankofa itself or any book like similar to it growing up in like regular school. But Sankofa is an amazing book, just like teaching about just African history. I don't know. It was just a beautiful book, like being able to learn about different languages and Ghanaian like foods and different things like that and sayings. It was just a really cool thing to kind of like just learn and see. And yeah, and it was just, I feel like what the boy in the book, like what he was feeling, like the emotions and stuff. I think a lot of kids go through that where they have a unique culture or come from a unique background, but they're scared to kind of share it because they don't want to possibly get made fun of for being different or anything like that. And just how him eventually being able to share his culture and how all the other kids in the book, how receptive they were to him and his culture, and just being like, whoa, like that's super cool. And I think I don't know, it's just a really cool book that I like a lot. So
What's your favorite thing in the summer during Freedom School?
I don't know. It could be the songs. It's the like IRC time. It's them actually seeing and having the book come to life in their own way. It's them applying it with all of their senses, not just like just one brain. It's like seeing it, smelling it, tasting, feeling, like hearing all the things. It's my favorite part also is like seeing the scholar blossom from what they first started out as to the very end of, again, how we talk about how they made friends or how they just honed in on their own skills, or how they, like, one scholar I remember is crying on the first day of Freedom School, even though when we called the parents, they were very excited, and they was like, oh, my brother is here too, I'm gonna be with my brother, and then crying on the first day in, and I'm like, hi, how are you? Like, you can stay with me the whole day. And turns out they were my scholar, but then for them to be like, Miss JC, I don't need your hand anymore. I love you, but I'm gonna go play with so-and-so and give my all to Harambe. Like, that's my favorite part.
The last day is it's amazing just because it's like knowing that who they were at the beginning of the summer, and then when you get to that last day, you do finale and everything, and seeing how everything comes together. I think it's just just a real beautiful thing. And seeing how the scholars grew over the summer, from the first day to the last, and just seeing like on that last day, like, man, like they've grown. So it's so many scholars that I could personally think of that's like, man, like who you were on the first week of Freedom School, like compared to the last day of Freedom School, is just like, man, it's night and day. Like it's like crazy the amount of growth and the amount of just like interest that they've learned, or like like built or grown over the whole summer. So that's why I say, like, I don't want to sound the wrong way, but I do think like that last day of just seeing just the culmination of everything, I think it is a beautiful thing, especially like, and it is a sad day too, don't get me wrong, but it's also, like I said, beautiful to see like how much growth has happened, and then just seeing all the connections that they've been able to build, and the relationships they've been able to build. Just like the scholars, like the last day of Freedom School is just nothing but like tears just everywhere, like everybody crying. But it's like man, because they gonna miss everyone, because they're just like, yo, like I really grew this attachment and grew this like bond to Freedom School that is just, it's beautiful to see that they just don't want to let it go, because it's like, because it basically done became a part of them. So that's why I say the last day.
Seeing certain lessons turn to leadership, because you can always say something over and over, but when it becomes a leadership aspect, and when the scholars actually like start embracing the leadership, I think that even piggybacks off what you said. But I want to go a little bit deeper. I like it then when the IRCs, when I'm somebody that tries different techniques, and when I figure out, okay, this works for this scholar, and then the scholars want to be more involved in the IRC, and they're like, oh, they take over IRC, like, I want this book. Why y'all talking? Like, can we talk about the book? Because that's how you know that the scholars are really, really into the book, and they want to go deeper, and they want to hear more. Because it's also, at the end of the day, this is summertime. People rather be playing sometimes. People, as a scholar, I probably would have rather been outside. But taking time, like, no, like, let's actually get to this book. This book is interesting. We actually like these books. Why are y'all... Scholars have asked, why are you playing games when we want to read? Like, what are you doing? Yeah. And being able to see the scholars do that, like, okay, cool, let's get back to the book. Let's do what we got to do. But let's actually understand and care about this story.
Seeing the relationships, I feel like, as everyone has kind of I'm going to piggyback on everybody. The relationships that you see grow over the summer is just amazing to watch. I can speak from experience. My little cousin, this was his first year this past summer, and he has not stopped talking about it since we've got home. He told me he missed being called King Blueberry, just your fault. Seeing just them building those connections and those relationships is just beautiful, because then again, that last day comes, they're like, I don't want you to go, I don't want to leave. And you're just like, well, then come again next summer. Right, you wasn't acting like that in class, so you thought you didn't like me, but then as soon as that last day come, oh, I don't want to leave. But it's just seeing the beauty of the scholars thriving and making those connections is just something that I feel like every year is just what pulls people back.